Hello everybody and welcome on today's video. Today we are going to do some work on this little yew, and it's just pruning back. We will do in order to obtain new back budding. So how should we do that? Well, let's come a little closer. So first of all, let's protect the surface with a little towel. It will make life much easier afterwards. So you can see the new growth is still a little more light green than the old growth. So if you want to obtain back budding on the inner side of the branches, you will have to cut back little pieces of the new growth. Now, how much do you want to cut back? Well, therefore you have to have a look at every single branch, because every single branch will require another approach. First thing I notice here is there's one scale insect here on this leaf, so let's get the leaf off and the scale insects. So that's done. It means that I will have to control the whole tree for scale insects and maybe give it a little spray. Now, removing some of the older leaves is a good thing, because that's where the new buds will emerge. Now you do that with tweezers, and if there is a little piece of the old leaf remaining, that's no problem. See, these are quite old needles. So on this branch, because I want to have some more back budding on this part, I will have to remove quite a lot of the old needles. This is a quite long and leggy branch, so it's not really one of my favorites, so I'm going to cut back most of the new growth. In this particular spot you can see that there are two branches, one over another, which is not interesting, so I'm going to cut back the lower one. So now all the energy that was accumulated in this branch will have to do something, and it will form new buds. So because I want this branch to have more back budding, I have to cut back quite severely. This is nice, new little shoot. Okay, like so. So I'm going to repeat the process for the whole tree, getting old needles off, because you will only get back budding when these needles are removed. Every needle pointing to the back or to the bottom side should be removed too. And this is something that pays off. In this particular spot you can see that there are already new buds forming, so it's a bit of a gamble. You never know where the new buds will emerge. But if you don't cut back, there will be no new buds. These two branches, I'm going to keep the new one and remove the one at the bottom. I've been thinking about removing a part of this branch, and I'm not quite sure if I should do it or not, because this part is starting to become a little too dense. So maybe I can gin this part here and keep this branch and these two, which will give me more than enough to fill the space. Or maybe even this one and only work with these two. But I'm not completely sure, so I'm going to think about it and do this when the tree is dormant, if I want to do it. So I'm just going to continue pruning the tree. Always try to leave some of the new growth of the year. So this part is becoming very dense. We have lots of new growth, and can even see that there are some branches growing over each other. So the one growing really straight up, well, you don't want to get rid of them, because that's imagine it like this: if you keep your hand like that, and you are always removing what is on top of on the branches, you will never get a covered foliage pad. So can trim it, but don't have to get rid of it. But that's why you have to take every branch in consideration separately. And don't forget to remove some of the older needles. Now this one is growing down, so that's not good. Like most trees, the top is always doing a little better than the rest of the tree. There's more vigor in there, because every tree wants to become a big tree. You might see that there is a little bud here, which is great, because that's really a spot where I need one. So in order to have this growing, we must calm down the rest of the tree. New buds forming here, which is very good, and it will allow me to make a selection of the buds and the growth on the parts of the tree where that are a little more away from and a completely new bud, which is fantastic. So again here a very healthy new shoot from this year. So all this new growth gives the tree a lot of vigor, and by trimming it back now and always leaving some of the new growth, new buds will form. And remove some of the old needles. So I'm going to continue doing this on the whole tree, keeping an eye on the scale insects, and I'll come back when this is done. So at the risk of repeating myself, I'm going to tell this again. So you see there is a branch here, and it has no side branches, which is not interesting. So there are two things you can do. You can cut back and then hope that our new buds will emerge here, or you can just get the tip of the new growth and then remove the needles up to here, and then leave some, of course, because you want this branch to grow and to be healthy, and then just remove the really big ones, and maybe one out of two, and then have a look if there's something growing at the bottom, which is something you don't need at all. And now you considerably increased the potential for this branch to make new buds. Same here, so all needles. Now this is a fine branch, it's completely new. It's not really thick, so don't touch it. So this concludes the pruning for today on this little yew. As you can see, before you know, you are cutting back quite a lot, and well, you should always have an eye on that, because you don't want to harm the tree, and you must allow it to photosynthesis and other good things like that. So that's what we have now. I hope new buds will form now, and then in spring we will have to make a selection of these new buds, and little by little we're getting there. So here's a little 360. So that's it for today. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.